Right, take two. The camera wasn't on. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. So the first job of the day is we're expecting a load of wheat seed to be delivered. We had some delivered last week. We've got the rest coming today. This is wheat seed that we will be drilling in the autumn. So we're a little bit early, but we like to be ahead of the game. So I'm going to get the loader ready to go, and then we can get it unloaded. So this is a winter wheat variety called Firefly. Well, actually, there's two different varieties on this load. Firefly and another one called Costello, Elvis Costello. As you can see, we've already had some Firefly delivered the other day. It's just a little bit more that we're going to need. We normally keep our own seed stock back, but everything we had in the ground last year was spring wheat, so we've had to buy in this year. But the idea is that one of these varieties we will keep back as seed stock for next year, depending on which one we prefer. That's it. Right, there's a bridge here, and I'm going to trim it because we can't see where it goes. Eventually this will get topped back as well, but I want to leave that for wildlife for now. But here we've got some stones actually from when we went stone picking the other week, but this bridge is fairly unlevel, so we're going to trim this back. We're going to try and lose some soil and some other bits from the combine shed because we've got lots of material we want to get rid of, so we may as well make use of it, level off this bridge, level off that track. But yeah, you can't see the edge into that ditch there, so I'm going to trim this back now, and then at least then be no risk of falling in. In fact, we sometimes take the combine over this little bridge, and it can be tight, so we might build it up a bit more depending on how much soil we've got. Well, at least now you can see the edge, because you don't want to be falling down there with any machinery. But yeah, we can get rid of the stones, we can get rid of some soil, we can just sort of level this out a bit better, because look, it's very lumpy and bumpy. But yeah, at least the edge is now exposed. Definitely do not want to be falling down there with the combine or anything. Right, gotta get back to the yard. We've got another delivery coming now. Right, so we just had some of this stuff delivered. This is limestone that we're going to be using as a sub base for the combine shed before the concrete goes in. There's 20 tons here, plus a little bit that we had left over. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up using all of that in there. Right, a bit of topping then this afternoon with the Blue Beast. I'm just going round some of our margins up against the crop, up against the wheat. I'm only doing the one swath though, up against the crop, leaving the rest for wildlife. It just sort of neatens up the edge of the crop, makes it easier at harvest time. For the combine, I'll probably end up doing this again in a couple of weeks' time. But everything's growing like mad at the moment. What I really want to be doing today is cutting hay. But the weather forecast is so patchy that if I made a start today cutting some grass, I'm just going to get caught out with the weather. First half of June, lovely. Second half, wet. And now we're into July, it's a bit iffy, bit of both. Sunshine now, it's good. Just wish it wasn't going to rain tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. But you know, they could be wrong, and it could be absolutely fine. But because it says rain, I'm not going to cut any grass for hay. So if they're wrong, I'll be kicking myself to be like, well, I could have done. See, I'm at Farm 2 at the moment. A lot of you guys want me to do a tour at Farm 2. I would, but it's not overly exciting. A few fields, a couple of sheds. That's pretty much it here. Love, love, love this tractor. In fact, I've got some work for this tractor coming up soon. So in August, the land that we've left set aside fallow over winter, we'll be bringing that back into the rotation. We'll be starting to do some cultivation. A couple hundred acres of cultivation. We'll do that pre-harvest, beginning of August. Ready for drilling. Can't wait to get this out in the field, really. Give it a good test. Probably have it on the old chisel plough. See if it can handle that. I'm sure it will. This thing is a beast. Windscreen's a bit dusty. Oh. How do I turn it off? There we go. So for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that we like to use the old chisel plough when we go cultivating. We've got a little bit of set aside ground that we left over winter that in a couple of weeks time we're going to start cultivating. So what I want to be doing is putting new points on the legs. As you can see, these points are reversible. That's obviously where it's warm there, and that's where it's still good. Now I could just be flipping these around, but what I'm going to do, I like to start the season fresh with new points. So we're going to take these ones off, and these can be kept back as spares. We have actually modified the chisel plough a little bit. If you look here, this leg and the one at the end of the middle row as well have been changed. We took these ones off. These are a different kind of leg which have what we call the shakerator points on the end. The problem is the aftermarket points you can get are no good. You put them on and they just fall off, and you can't get the original ones anymore. So what we've done is we found some legs in one of our sheds. They're almost the same leg, not quite. There is a little bit of a difference. I might go into detail on that in a minute. But what we've done is put two legs the same as all the others to replace the ones over there, and that way we can be running the same points on every single leg. So these are the points I need. Quick count up, 22, so we've got more than enough for a change. There's 15 points on the chisel plough, and as you can see, we do have a bit of a tendency to keep quite a few back as spares just in case they'll go again. So yeah, better grab some of these and some bolts as well. Yep, they're the ones. Right, one down, 14 to go. Won't take long. Going back to these two legs here that we've put on, it turns out that this angle just here is slightly different to the other legs, which means that point is going to be an inch or so up, which means it is going to be working a little bit shallower. Dad's had the idea to weld 2 points together, cut one and weld it to another one.
It's just an experiment, Nick. It probably won't work.
Oh, you've cut one there.
It's an old time. They taste for cutting too.
Yeah, you cut the end of one.
Yeah, I wanted one with a bit of a bend on to bend it down.
So the bit you're welding on needs to be angled.
Well, it's got to go downwards, Nick.
Yeah.
It's no use coming upwards or straight.
No, it needs to go down.
It's got to go down. So
yeah.
I'll tack this on, weld this on, bring it up, and we'll just see. If it doesn't look right, but if it's only an inch or two, you might get away with it. You probably won't.
To be honest, I think it'll probably be alright as it is. So,
yeah. I mean, I didn't realise that those Bomford legs had two different
sorts. So your idea anyway. May as well try it.
Yeah, I'll do a quick, I'll do a weld, bring it out.
I'll leave you to your professional welding skills.
Yes, okay.
I'll get the rest of those other points on.
I've got a top standard out of welding, haven't I?
Is that your...
Yeah, better weld on the back. It's not very good.
No, that's not too bad.
You probably won't though until you put it down, will you?
No, I mean that's...
That looks stupid. It's got to go up, Nick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to go. It's quite hot actually, Dad, so...
Okay,
let it cool down for a minute. Pop a bolt in, see what it looks like.
I mean, can you see along the lines of the other ones now, or...?
It's a bit longer now.
But you see, will it just break off?
It'll probably just break off, won't it? Not that your weld's not strong enough. Just...
No, but it could. But thinking about it, I've welded it onto a reverse point there. If it did break off, you could just run, couldn't you?
It could just run, because it's the normal end, yeah.
Normal end, yeah.
I'll tighten that one up, and then that's on, isn't it? It's a bit,
well,
it's a bit banana-y, isn't it? I kind of see what you're trying to go for.
Yeah, that's a bit daft, isn't it? But we haven't wasted anything, it's an old one.
Yeah.
Well, we're still probably better than those McConnell things, because they weren't going in at all well, were they?
Those ones over there, they didn't do much of a good job, so whatever we do here is going to be better anyway. He is funny, that's hilarious, that is, but to be fair, if that bit did break off, then he's just back to where we'd be anyway. But yeah, he's making another one. Right, all new points are fitted, plus Dad's modifications. Right, so a bit of spraying. I'm spraying off with Roundup some of our set-aside ground, some of the areas where it's pretty bad for black grass. There's a little bit of black grass appearing, so I just want to make sure we knock that on the head before we start cultivating. It's good to have the normal wheels back on the Fastrac. Looks a bit silly on the narrow wheels. We're all done with any crop spraying now for the season. The T3 on the wheat has been done, so that's all finished. Just want to get on top of this black grass on the set-aside ground before we start cultivating. So why do we have some ground that isn't growing anything this year that we've left set aside? Well, the reason we do is it's part of our rotation at the moment. The land that's in the set aside is in an environmental scheme, so we get paid to leave it for the wildlife over winter, and we're doing this instead of growing, you know, a regular rape crop, i.e. oilseed rape. We haven't grown rape for a few years on our farm, the main reason being flea beetle and the chemical control that you're allowed and not allowed to use on rape at the moment, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware of those issues. I think what we want to be doing in the future though is going back to growing rape in our rotation, but obviously right now there's some issues surrounding that. So we're in a scheme, we're in year 3 of the 5-year scheme here, and for me and Dad on the farm it makes perfect sense for us, because obviously it's less work in the autumn and the spring if there's a bit less ground to crop. So for us it makes sense, and that's pretty much why we have some set aside ground. Now this ground comes back into the rotation in August, hence why I said earlier we'll be cultivating in August. And the reason for cultivating, as you know, we've got a direct drill. The reason we cultivate the ground that's been set aside is just like what I'm doing now, we're spraying it off. It's all to do with the black grass control. We have seen better results as far as black grass goes on land that we've cultivated compared to what's been direct drilled. And also what's interesting is there's a field near the yard that we call Great Grounds up on the hill. That field was direct drilled after set aside last year, and what I found as a big issue was compaction, natural compaction. Obviously no vehicles had been in there for the whole season. It was just growing weeds and flowers and volunteer cereals, but it was a natural compaction that had built up. So that one was actually a tough field to establish. So while we've got this set aside ground, we're definitely going to be sort of going down the cultivation route, but the idea moving forward is to get back into a more 100% direct drilling program, and also to bring oilseed rate back into the equation as well. This is what you want for opening the cans. These are really tight to get off. Look at that, easy. Right, so I've got a couple of oil filters to pick up for our loader. I'm going to take the new car. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's not a normal key, is it? It's a start on a button jobby. So I would do an update on the car that we've now had for a couple of days, but this is actually the first time I've driven it since we got it, because Dad has pretty much claimed it He's been driving it around the last couple of days. I think he's enjoying it quite a lot. So yeah, I haven't really had much of a chance to have a drive. So thought I'd take it now to pick up these filters. You know how when you've got a new car, it's got that new car smell? This one doesn't really have that. It just sort of smells like Grandad's. Right, here we go. It's so quiet. Right, camera's about to run out of battery, so I'll leave the video here for today, guys. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a massive thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell to get notified when I upload a new video. So take it easy, guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.